Welcome back, learners, and it's fantastic to have you here for another session of Global English Competitiveness. Today we're diving into the second part of Unit 12, Breaking News, Breaking Hearts. Grab your pen and paper as we delve into the world of journalism, storytelling, and the power of communication. To recap, we have four can-do objectives in this unit. First, to explore deeper news stories. Second, discuss the importance of communicating disasters. Third, discuss the ways of getting prepared during disasters. And fourth, write a news article. As you can remember, in the previous lesson, we have already covered our first can-do objective. You have already explored deeper news stories. So now, let's move on to our second can-do objective, to discuss the importance of communicating disasters. Without further ado, let's move over to our second lesson for this unit, 12B, Breaking Hearts, Breaking News. And here are the different sub-lessons that will help us achieve our objective. Reading, vocabulary, grammar, writing, and speaking. Let's begin the lesson by reading an essay entitled Communicating Disasters. Read with me. Communicating disasters. Effective disaster communication involves the dissemination of timely and accurate information, especially to all stakeholders directly affected. These stakeholders involve the affected communities, the government, particularly the national and local risk reduction and management councils, and the public. Effective disaster communication is crucial for the Philippines, as the World Bank has reported that the country is one of the most disaster-prone nations in the world, with at least 10 million Filipinos affected by natural disasters annually. Thus, the following are the key aspects of communicating disasters. Preparedness and training. Media personnel and communication teams from the government should have appropriate trainings on disaster preparedness and disaster communication to ensure well-crafted communication plan before a disaster occurs. Timely alerts and warnings. Potential threats must be communicated to the public, particularly to the most vulnerable and affected areas, through the issuance of timely alerts and warnings. Timely alerts and warnings must be communicated in a clear and accessible manner. Coordination and collaboration. Consistent messaging about the nature of the disaster and evacuation procedures does not only prevent confusion or conflicting information, but will help people make informed decisions. Consistent messaging may be achieved when there is strong coordination and collaboration among media organizations and government agencies. Addressing rumors and misinformation. Media organizations and government officials must be vigilant in debunking unverified and false information to prevent panic, which may hinder disaster response efforts. Empathy. The emotional needs of the affected individuals and communities must be emphasized when communicating disaster news. Being empathetic to the pain and trauma of victims of a natural disaster is an important aspect of effective disaster communication. Post-disaster updates. Disaster communication should continue even after the disaster occurred. People must be constantly updated with recovery efforts and available resources for the affected communities. The reading passage Communicating Disasters has 6 paragraphs. Match the 6 key aspects of communicating disasters to their respective attributes. Write the correct Roman numeral number 1 to 6 in the spaces provided. For example, number 1, preparedness and trainings. Among the list of attributes, the correct answer here is trainings on effective disaster communication. Now pause the video and answer items number 2 to 6. Here are the correct answers. Time to test your vocabulary. Complete the following sentences with the words in the box. For example, in number 1, the city governments of Cebu and Talisay should blank with the national government in their preparation for the upcoming typhoon. The correct answer here is coordinate. Now, pause the video and answer the rest of the items. Here are the correct answers. Now, let's test your knowledge on modal verbs. Keep in mind that modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that give information about ability, necessity, or possibility. Complete the following sentences by underlining the most suitable words. For example, in number 1, the traffic jam blank mean there's an accident up ahead. The correct answer here is should. Now pause the video and answer the rest of the items. Now here are the correct answers. For our next activity, you have to list the steps you or your family take before, during, and after a disaster. After writing, you may refer to the link provided to check your answers. If your answer is not included on the website, you may consult your teacher. We are down to our last activity for Lesson 12B. Share your answers from the previous activity with your partner. As you take turns in sharing, identify the best practices shared by your partner that are not in your list. Write as many as you can. And with that, we have covered our second can-do objective, which is to discuss the importance of communicating disasters. In this lesson, we read an essay highlighting the key aspects of communicating disasters. We also tested your vocabulary on terms related to disaster preparedness. We tapped your prior knowledge on modal verbs, listed down the steps you take before, during, and after a disaster, and you shared these steps to a partner. I trust you enjoyed our lesson as much as I did. Unit 12B concludes here. Thank you for tuning in, and I eagerly anticipate our next encounter in the upcoming lesson.